Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing what I am going to start calling the regional roll-up. I'm going to be doing a weekly video every Tuesday where I'm going to take all of the regionals that happened this past weekend. We're going to talk about the meta, just do some quick snapshots, what decks performed well, were there any kind of fun, unique decks, what are some inclusions that we're seeing, and kind of just have fun talking about the meta as a whole. This will not also encompass any big events. We'll do separate videos for them, like Ascent Niagara. We'll do its own video for that. But I just want to do this weekly. If there's ever not a regional that weekend, I'll just pick out a very interesting deck from a couple of the prior ones and kind of talk about it. So hopefully this will help you keep a beat on at least what people are trying out in terms of the meta and have a good time. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. To my new Grand Archive people, y'all have been so welcoming. I've already had some really positive comments talking about the entry-level content. I'm gonna keep doing that, so hopefully you're enjoying that. If you don't like my content though, at the end of this video, I have a creator worksheet down below with a Grand Archive tab, and I'll be constantly adding new creators to that, so you can at least use that as a resource to find other content creators. But we'll get right into it. So really quick, I've been doing Grand Archive content for a week now. I'm gonna continue to try to do nearly a video a day for the first month. I want to be able to give y'all a feel for my channel, how I talk, what my style of content is. I'm trying to also, from a creator side, I'm trying to get into the Grand Archive algorithm, right? I'm trying to let people who play the game see my content. And then after that, you can expect probably, I'd say 2 to 3 videos a week for me is my normal kind of pace, so to speak. And just really quick for the Grand Archive people, and then we'll get in the video, I promise, is my channel for Grand Archive specifically, how I am foreseeing it, is going to be kind of threefold. One, and first and foremost, I'm going to try to do very good general level content for you, kind of not just beginner friendly per se, but card set overviews and elemental breakdowns and champion breakdowns, class breakdowns. I'm going to do an assassin class breakdown first. We'll get to that in a second. And then just kind of give you good general content of whether you're a brand new Grand Archive player or you've been in the game for a little bit and you're trying to understand it better because it's a very complex game. I want to be able to give you quick serving content in 10 to 15 minute increments that you can just take and run with, right? I don't want to have to there's some people that are very good at hour-long podcasts. I'm not that type of person. I like to be quick and clean with it. The second part of my channel that you'll enjoy is stuff like this. I'm going to do weekly regional roll-ups. I'll be covering big events, what's performing well, what's not, and trying to give you an overarching, macro level view on the meta. And the final thing is, and this is the most specific part of my channel for all you Grand Archive people, I am an assassin enjoyer. I love Tristan. I love Xander, and I'm going to be loving Merlin when Phantom Monarch comes out. So I'm going to be doing deep dive assassin content. So if you're really like the assassin champions archetypes, this is the channel for you. I'm going to be doing a video series next week talking about why you should play Xander, why you should play Tristan, what's the core mechanics, what are good tech cards, all that kind of stuff. So all I'd say, we'll get right into it. So for these weekly regional roll-ups, I'm going to be using a mix of my favorite website, TCG Architect. They do a tournament page where they upload some of the tournaments. You also have Fractal of Insight, right, who uploads some stuff. Right now, TCG Architect's still working on uploading the Cake TCG regional, so I will use Fractal of Insight for that. But in the meantime, I will use TCG Architect for this. They do a really good job at showing you, win percentages and who they played against, and I just I love their website so far in its infancy. They're doing a really good job. So these were the top performers. We had a Water Diana list end up taking first place. In the top, 9 decks, or I guess top 8 is the way we should do it. Top 8 decks, as you can see, we had 3 Lorraines, 4 Lorraines, 2 CLs, and 2 Water Dianas. You also can look at view all results, and it'll allow you to keep going down the list. Other notables, we had a Fire Guoja list get 13th. We had 2 Tristans in the top 18, as well as a Wind Fire Vanitas list. And it kind of just went from there. And then we had a Fire Xander at 20th. So decent representation, but those 3 champions definitely kind of took the cake a little bit. All of the Lorraines, for the most part, were on the Fire package with Crux. And then they were looking through the Looking Glass in order to play some Astra material deck cards. And then we also had a Wind deck. I think it was just a Wind. I think this one was just a Wind Lorraine that had looking through the looking glass, so they could play some Astra cards. I'm almost positive. Yes, they could play the Ranger Strides. But talking about the first place list, because it's a really cool list, I'm going to bring it up here, is this Water Diana list. So the list only goes to level 2. The level 2 of Diana really is like where she's really trying to do the really dumb stuff, right? Being able to load 2 ether charges from your hand or memory into your weapon and then draw that many cards so you don't lose them is really nice, especially if you can get some float and be able to bring this out without, costing cards from your memory. You can really take a lot of tempo and start to load that ether wing really good. This is a pretty tried and true Water Diana list. It's still trying to go distant on its first turn, so it can go into level 1 and then materialize its Ether Wing card from its material deck. And then level 2 is when it's really trying to stack those charges into its Ether Wing and then shoot you. This deck can... I played against this deck this week so far, and it can do some damage quick. Turn 2, turn 3, it can be hitting you for double digits with its Ether Wing on top of some allies that it does have in here, which we'll talk about here in a second. Very, very good using other stuff too, like Inert Sword and Ranger Strides through the Looking Glass to be able to cast those because it'd be able to ignore the elemental requirements of distortion cards you play, and being able to use these distortion accessories and swords is really, really useful. So other than that, a lot of this is pretty tried and true Water Diana, nothing too spicy. The biggest thing they're doing is the Cheshire Cat and Looking Glass combo, so to speak. Mad Hatter is not a popular inclusion, but it's a very good card. It's a 1/3 that has range 3 on enter. You can do some other stuff too. Really, really good there. Everything else in the norm category is pretty standard. Staggering Strike to kind of have some anti-assassin tech. Also, it's just pretty good damage. Has True Sight. Broken Mustang is very good. Disruption against the opponent. The biggest kind of, I guess, and what other people have pointed out in this list that's very interesting, if I can find it, make sure I do it here, is the Languid Toad Troll. Hopefully, I know I'm mispronouncing that, but the Toad Troll, it's a 0/6 taunt, comes in hindered, but then it's a big body on the board that's hard to deal with for some decks, especially decks that are trying to go tall and hit with big attacks. It can be something that's very annoying for people to deal with. And when you couple this with the... Let me make sure I find it here. I'm really bad at reading. Oh my goodness, there it is. Gosh. Carp Song Coda. Carp Song Coda says, harmonize. If you've activated a melody card this turn, put the top 4 decks into your graveyard. Deal an amount of damage to target unit equal to the highest life stat among water, elemental, animal, and beast ally cards in your graveyard. So basically, you play the Toad Troll, you get it in your grave, it has 6 health, and then you can hit something for 6. Whether it's a champion, because champion's considered a unit, or a big pesky unit on the board with Carp Song. So getting both that defensive and offensive value, really cool synergy. And the reason I wanted to point this out specifically is because Grand Archive is a very competitive game, but it's also a very, and I don't mean this in an overly negative way, it's just how it is. It's a very hive-minded game. People will see lists and see card combos, and they just kind of run those. They don't really take the time at times to look at every card in the set and be like, okay, what could synergize with this card? What's some cool stuff? And being able to synergize Carp Song and Toad Troll together is a really, really cool thing that people might not look to do in just a standard Water Diana list, right? That synergy point's not always there. So definitely, I encourage people, and this reason for this regional roll-up is to point out stuff like this, is to explore. Do some different stuff, have some fun, synergies, really, really good. Because this deck, Water Diana, it doesn't have any in the main board that I know of, other than Carp Song's mill effect. It doesn't really have any mill strategy to it, which is not common for a lot of water decks right now, right? The only mill, it's Fractal Range or the sideboard, so, nothing too crazy there. But really, really cool list, really awesome to see it do well. We also had the Wind Lorraine with Looking Glass, so they can play the Ranger Strides, just kind of good Wind Allies type stuff. Did really well. And then also Cabin's CL deck that other people were running as well. He was not running the Fire package in here. Saw him on stream playing this, very well piloted, obviously. CL I don't have as much experience with in terms of play patterns, but I do know that you can see a lot of the mill packages in here, a lot of the, whether it's self-mill, most of it's self-mill in order to get those Omen counter generators going, cards like Fractal Rain, right? Also, really cool addition cards like Dredging Streams for some Graveyard Hate that also gives you level 2 floating memory. Really, really cool addition there. Song of Frost, one of my favorite cards in the game. Just a really defensive deck that wants to mill itself a little bit to be able to generate those Omen counter value with CL's level 2 and level 3, and just kind of go from there and just kind of outvalue your opponent. This is a truly a mid-range deck at a heart that's just trying to do what people thought CL would do at the start, which is just, get that incremental value and then overwhelm you in the late game, which is kind of what Guardian wants to do anyway. Devouring Malice also being in there makes me really happy. I love this card. Interesting. Cool to see it in the Cave list as well. But yeah, that's how this went. So as you can see, a lot of fire, wind, and water. When we look at the elemental breakdowns, Spirit of Fire had 47 copies, Spirit of Water had 33, Spirit of Wind had 25. So wind being the less, water representation going massively up after the Ryle ban. But fire is still kind of taking the cake, and I think it always kind of will a little bit, unless it's like a drastic meta, just because of how fun fire is to play for new and experienced players alike, so on and so forth. So that was the Yeti regional. We also had the Cake TCG Utrecht DTR regional, 35 players. A fire aggro Dalchan ended up taking it with a fire aggro Lorraine. Crux Lorraine, as you can see here, a Wind Seru combo, Shadow Strike Tristan, Fire Crux Lorraine, and then the last two, Water Fractal Dalchan and Water Unique Allies. So as you can see here, only three fire decks really in the top 8. A lot different list. We have Dalchan game first place. This Dalchan list can just smack you for so much damage off the rip. It's a very, very aggressive lean list. Fire aggro Lorraine, they makes sense too. A lot of people just going for that heavy aggro package, it seems, in this meta for this area. Wind Seru, Guoja being really good makes sense. All these are pretty usual suspects. Kind of the biggest one was the fire aggro Dalchan doing well. We'll have to see how this shapes up. So really, really cool initial 2 events post Ryle ban, seeing how people are taking things. It seems like people are trying to go through some good tried and true mid-range strategies, some really unique stuff with the Diana list, and then we're seeing some outliers here and there. But let me know what your thoughts are. Just wanted to do a quick breakdown of what happened. Again, I'll be doing these every Tuesday, the regional roll-up, kind of talking through some decks. If there's anything that you want me to point out specifically with these or focus on, please let me know. I'm more than happy to bend this weekly idea to try to make the most sense for you all as a community. But yeah, thank y'all so much. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you're new to the Grand Archive scene, welcome. If you're a long-standing Grand Archive player and you like this content so far over the past week, leave feedback, please. Not just positive feedback, although I do like it, to say like you're enjoying the videos, but like anything you'd like to see. Maybe based off like the way I talk or my content style, like what do you think would be cool for me to do, what lane would be cool for me to fill. I'd love to hear your feedback as well. But thank you all so much. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If not me, it's totally fine. Go to the creator worksheet down below, leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff. Let's get more people seeing this game, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Be kind to each other. See y'all.